This is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and we're looking at a Purple Platoon gameplay. We're on Sand River, and this is LOL Assault. Right there, I am stating to my teammate, it's pretty hard to lose on this side. How wrong I was. Fellow Purples always make fun of me when I have Assault and Encounter enabled, so sometimes they're a little bit lost because they've literally never played these maps. The reason why I stated that Sand River is pretty hard to lose for the quote-unquote defending side is because there are a lot of hull-down situations that the attackers have to navigate, and the defenders can slowly bleed them when in a very, very advantageous spot. So because I'm the defender, I can sit back, spot them first, shoot from a hull-down position, and when it looks like they're going to overrun me, I can fall back into another very good and very defensible hull-down position several hundred meters back and repeat the process. So right away, it's a little bit unusual. One of the things that pubbies generally do is they head up into the hills around B9 and they typically congregate up there. The fact that they're being so aggressive and actually coming through that valley around D7, D8 area is slightly odd. Don't get me wrong, what they're doing right now is actually much better than what normal puppies do. It's just that I didn't expect them to do the right thing. Their goal should be to come through where they are in the E0 spot, so they can assault us while we're hull down, but they can also be hull down when they assault through those lanes too. So I really like what they're doing strategically. On some maps for assault, the correct strategy is to actually counterattack. For example, on Siegfried Line, I like counterattacking. On Corellia, I like counterattacking. But this is an assault map where passive, hard-fought defense is by far the best option. My teammate is Melchior037. He's from Pebcac, the Kitties, and he's actually hanging out around G1, G2. When you have two very strong players, often it's best to split them up so you can protect both flanks. The problem is that when you have your strength entirely focused on one flank, if the other flank falls, then the travel time is typically what does you in. Since we count basically for several players, it's advantageous for us to protect all of the map at once. It's become apparent that the majority of their team is on my side, so my platoon mate is making his way over preemptively before the flank calls. This is something better players do. They recognize where the enemy is going to attack. They recognize where your puppies are doing a good job and where the puppies are not going to be enough. Typically when people say we need help here or we need help there, it's either not entirely accurate or far too late for actual shifting of flanks to begin. One of the things that makes it so tough for the attacking team on this map is the clock. Like I said before, my strategy is going to be engaging into a very strong hull-down defense, bleeding them around every hill that I can find. We're already 4 minutes in, and they are not even close to capping us out, so they're probably going to have to kill us. My personal playstyle typically has me near the front lines, so on my type I do have optics as I fulfill a scouting role most of the time. The shot that I just took about 30 seconds ago shows that there is somebody sniping up on the hill, so when I expose myself, I need to make sure that I don't expose myself overly much towards that direction. The good part is, if I'm back about 50 to 100 yards, they can't even shoot me because I'm not in draw distance. While it looks like we have a couple of teammates backing us up, that's not entirely the case. There's an AFKer around our cap, and the TDs that are behind us, one of them is a prototype, so that's helpful. The other one is a Hellcat, and the Hellcat just doesn't have a lot of penetration to deal with some of these hull-down tanks. And ourselves, we really don't have a lot of penetration to deal with hull down tanks either, so this is definitely dicier than it looks. Another problem is that 2 of our 3 teammates behind us actually can't shoot this low and this 5100 coming up there. So if we do get flanked from that side, we really don't have any backup other than a simple Hellcat. One of the defining characteristics of Assault and Encounter is that the puppies generally don't know where to go. They definitely are more comfortable on a lot of the old maps and on standard game mode, which have been out for years, and the best strategies are a lot more common. But that's why I like it, because it offers a lot of variety over the standard gameplay. I generally like what the enemy team is doing. They have people that are looking into our spawn and are able to shoot from these distances, and they are just spotting and probing weaknesses around the perimeter. Another downside of the people behind us is that there are not a lot of enemy tanks that are actually in their draw distance and or angles, so they really can't offer much help at all. We are basically alone here. One of the things that's good to do is keep track of where people are pointing their focus and keeping their turrets. That shot right there, you can collect several shots of those per round and then back off while they try to get you. I probably should have launched just a snapshot right there, as I didn't need the shell, and if it damaged him that would have been pretty big. He actually overreacts there and pulls into the ditch. With his speed, I know I can ignore him for at least 30 seconds, so I switch focus. There's a Churchill gun carrier that has spent all game apparently traversing that little trench, only just to get murdered. Poor guy in a horrible tank. Our T-28 gets worked by artillery. That's very bad for us. The time is actually in our favor, however it's also making the enemy very desperate. The score is only 5-5 and they're already mounting attack, so we have a low and a JP on our left side, and we have a Hellcat, a Tiger II, and a VK on our right side, and another one of our team behind us went down, and we have someone semi-AFK backing us up. This could go real south real fast. Their AT-15 is actually making headway on the west flank. That doesn't look good for us. I don't know why he's not getting murdered, but so that flank is something to keep in mind. Popping up on the west flank, it is going to lose, and now they're pushing into on the east flank. We are in real trouble here. Even though the west flank is falling, we have very immediate problems in front of us that we have to solve. Our strategy remains the same. There's a minute 50 left on the clock, and we have to hope that we can somehow take them out before we get flanked. I take a shot there, making the situation even worse, because now it limits our options. We can't just melee them down. We can't go into a brawl situation with this low of HP. I'm going to peek over at my teammate and check and see that he is at 10% HP, just to make sure. Yep, we are totally boned, and they are just YOLOing forward, and now I'm getting flanked from the back and these guys in front. 1 minute left. Gotta survive. It's very important in this situation that you don't freak out and you just concentrate on the angles. I'm trying to put those rocks in case there's one person on the hill. I'm trying to stay away from the Tiger II, so I'm going to back up here. I take out the VK, and here I'm just backing up. There is the ditch behind me, which I can jump into if need be, but I clutch the shot on the Tiger II, so we're only down 10-12. The timer has run down to the point where I don't need to risk anything further, so I'm just going to stay on the hill away from the low. The second he starts climbing after me, I just need to back away. Already splashes me a little bit, but it's nothing serious. I actually know all of the tanks are on the other side. Because I'm a terrible driver some days, I actually get punched by the low there, and we are in severe danger here of losing. They just have to take out myself and the scout, and I'm not doing so well. I fall down back into the cliff and I explode right as time expires. I'm so bad at this game. This ends up being a 2K experience game with like 140,000 credits, but my performance at the end is just hilarious bad. Hope you enjoyed. Happy hunting.